Good day, YouTubers, and thank you for tuning in to today's video on YouTube. I'm actually recording on a really wet day. We've got Storm Chandra on the cards, and don't get me started. Yes, this storm is named after an Indian term for moon. I think it's Sanskrit, isn't it? Strangely enough, last storm we actually had was, let me just flip it out. I'm actually covered in wet weather actually, because it's raining, isn't it? Because we've got Storm Chandra. Believe me or not, that's like the re-beginning of the Indian monsoon season that we've got at the moment, because it's just really, really wet outside, and also Storm Chandra has a lot of Sanskrit in origin, which is kind of funny. If you look at the Wikipedia page about this storm, you can definitely see why. But I'm not going to, because I'm not going to sound like a complete dumb smart aleck. I was going to say the word dumb a something, whereas if I was going to say that word, well, YouTube is going to demonetize me. I'm sure about that. But yes, we are pretty much experiencing about 50 to about 50 to, I don't know, about 80 miles per hour of a wind speed that we're getting in some parts of the UK. Of course, I've got my with me today because it's absolutely wet. Yeah, you can see why it has been pouring with rain. And actually, speaking of rain that has been pouring so far, I could tell you what. Yeah, it looks quite sentimental outside. Yes, there's no nasturtiums that are alive here in the backyard garden as always. But I've decided to make this video a little bit earlier because I've got no chance to be making a video around 11 AM today because it's Tuesday. And I've got to do some website building, which is just possibly one of the worst jobs I've actually decided to do. Just because of that, you know, the Northfield Trade Centre that I always go to. The Northfield Trade Centre is basically that place where I simply come here to do a bit of website building, which is just absolutely tedious as hell. And we've got a robin that's feeding in the backyard garden. No surprise that it is really, really wet outside with Storm Chandra. Apparently we've got some cold air coming from Canada that's actually bumping into the warm air of Mexico, and that's what's actually helping to develop this storm. Okay, is it a robin or is it a dunnock? That's on the tree there. I'm just going a little bit slowly. We've got a squirrel, and we've also got this little bird here. You can't see from the very far end because it's really, really wet. And of course, yes, we are experiencing some heavy rainfall, as always, as per usual. As you can see, in my area, luckily enough, about 14 miles per hour of a wind speed that we're getting. It's alright, but I tell you what, by the afternoon, it's going to be cranking up to about 80 miles per hour or 50 miles per hour. Unlucky if you live in the coast. Yeah, I can really feel it. I bet there's also going to be a disruption risk of flooding as well, a very high risk of flooding as well. It does make sense, as if, you know, this storm is named after some sort of Indian moon thing. I'm pretty sure that's what Chandra means. It's something to do with the moon, I guess. I'm not sure if my Indian relatives may know about this. Well, I don't have any relatives, but as in, like, fans. But, yeah, as you can see, it's really, really moist, really lush and very green outside. And it's basically, as I said before, it's like monsoon season all over again. The windstorm season is our monsoon, so pretty funny. You know, I was probably thinking of the return of the westerlies that happens in like June and July, where we get wet weather again during the summer. But yes, very interesting. And actually, I can see something that's a bit peculiar that I don't usually tend to associate it with wintertime. Let me go out for a bit. And yes, there has been also reports of snow in Scotland as well. Okay, what is that? I just saw something that's actually quite unique. There's a lot of shrubbery right here. Some ugly, spiky bits of shrubbery which I can't corner around because they're just basically taking over the flipping backyard garden. And why, oh why, have I decided to film in the middle of this period? And actually, I can see a flower that's actually blossoming right over in this wet and dreary condition I'm in at the moment. Sorry for the wind noise, but yes, we are experiencing a very nasty storm here. I think the last time we had was Storm Goretti, which had a lot of Italian in origins, I think. But it didn't come from Italy. As strange as it sounds, it has an Italian name. And then we also had a Scandinavian name called Ingrid, which also came in the form of Storm Ingrid. Yeah, so that's actually quite interesting, seeing a winter blossoming rose. I've got no idea what rose is that. Normally I tend to see it blossoming during the summer, but hey, seeing a rose blossoming in the winter, that's not too bad to see. That's pretty unusual actually, to see flowers during winter time, but hey, doesn't really matter. I can tell the guys, hey, I'm off to probably retreat back, because it is pouring down with rain. It is just fripping drenching as hell. Or maybe I can just grab a rose here and see how it looks like. And there's also a bud as well too, but I'm going to keep the, okay, I'm just going to rip the flower head, of course. So that is the rose that comes right over here like so. I'm just going to put it right into my pocket so that I can save it by the time I'm going out at the moment. Yes, it is a dreary old sort of style to get out and about. I got a funny feeling it's going to be raining all week. What a hellish time to go outside, man. It's like living in India with all of that wet weather and stuff here. My goodness me, I think all of this wet weather I'm seeing here is just unusual. I mean, normally I don't go outside when it's that wet, but this is actually so exceptionally rare because it's Tuesday, and mind you, that storm has technically arrived. And we are experiencing quite a lot of stuff going around here with Storm Chandra. I'm not going to do the forecasting bits today because I have to go to the hand-drawn stores, which is just absolutely tedious as hell. So yeah, we've got about 50 to 80 miles per hour coming from the Gulf of Mexico all the way. I think it's an Atlantic sort of windstorm, as I like to call it. A European windstorm more like. So yeah, it absolutely is basically churning down with rain, or pelting down with rain as I like to call it. And look at the amount of water that we've accumulated. That is a bucket full of water. That is just massive seeing that. I mean, seeing that amount of rainfall is just completely and utterly wild. I mean, who knows, there could be some thundery showers developing in the afternoon. I don't know how much convective instability we tend to have. It's only a summer thing, but yeah, that is Storm Chandra. Obviously, if that song really straightforward drove you crazy or drove you mad, please let me know, because I'd hate to discriminate or hate to upset the Indian fans that are watching this YouTube video and my channel alike, because they've known me as a person for a long period of time. And it's kind of funny and a bit ironic that the European windstorm season of 2025/2026 is on the cards. So, as strange as it sounds, boy, touring around the backyard garden during the middle of a windstorm has just been quite, well, let's just say fun and hilarious, but also a bit serious. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, my tablet is going to die. And I'm just wrecking my umbrella, hey, because it's just absolutely wet. But also, I can't wrangle my my umbrella in the middle of this wet weather here, because there's just so much water. Yeah, it's really difficult, especially wrangling my brolly right over big goddamn thick hedgerows that haven't been trimmed. That's a bit ugly, isn't it? But luckily enough for me, hey, I haven't really jump cut it so far, which is actually quite nice to know. But yes, hey, I think the rain has started to calm a bit down, although I think it's going to continue on. Yes, don't actually predict on the fact that this weather event is going to really, like, stop and go. Okay, so don't expect it to really stop, because the next thing you may know is, boy, how do I even know that this storm is going to really, yes, okay, so we've got some water accumulation right over my freaking tablet. Hopefully this tablet will live after, let's just say, enduring a moment of pain and anxiety. Yes, this storm has really wreaked a lot of havoc. In fact, it's been raining ever since, like, midnight of today. Very strange, isn't it? But anyways, oh, the winds are kind of cranking a bit. That just shows you how mighty angry the storm is. Yeah, I don't know if there's any more wind storm coming around here. And it's kind of funny that this storm, it's making its way. I wouldn't illustrate this on forecast because obviously I can't do that because it's Tuesday. But let me show you. Basically, let's picture this as if this is the UK. So this is my hand here. And basically, if I'm going to be doing a weather forecast here, let me just go ahead and put it right over something that's a bit much more conventional, I think. A bit unusually conventional. So here's my hand here. And I Don't think I can do this right through camera, but maybe if I try and... I don't know where to really sit. Strange, I don't think I can pretty much sit here. So if I was going to illustrate here, yeah, obviously I can probably sit my tablet like so, without breaking it. So imagine this is the UK, obviously, and imagine if, well, let's just say half of my my hand was like that, and obviously my hands have been dirty because I was doing painting and stuff. Okay, I can't even do a very good picture. So let me get this straight. So here's the UK. Imagine this is Storm Chandra. That's where I'm circling at. So basically what we're getting at the moment is that all this wet weather is making a big barrage across Scotland with snow and stuff. Whereas the rest of England, Wales and the rest of Ireland, obviously, which is ironically part of the British Isles, but only the Northern Ireland part is part of the UK for some political obvious reason, which I shouldn't get into because it's not that political. But anyway, so yes, Storm Chandra has made landfall across the UK. I think it's worse effects, of course, at the bottom here. Which imagine if there's places like Plymouth and London, for example, I'd suppose well, I might be totally wrong because London's alright because it's pretty much close to the coast, but much more inland, I guess, at the same time. I'd say the worst hit areas will be Plymouth and, you know, areas like Devon and Cornwall. That's what I'm probably guessing. There's like a big accumulations of wet weather and about, let's just say, a 50 to 80 mile per hour wind speed amber warning, I think, that we've got at the moment. So it's absolutely hard to predict, and it's really difficult to imagine of just how unpredictable and volatile this storm is. You can definitely see, I think it's going to be a massive chock-a-block of wet weather and stuff. Yeah, it's going to be widely distributed so far until this storm culminates. Oh man, what can I really say about this storm, apart from the fact that I did an Indian tune? That would have annoyed a lot of people, didn't it? But yes, Storm Chandra is here on the weather forecast of today, and I did go outside to straightforward film in my backyard garden because obviously I've got change, and I've chosen that because I have no choice but just to straightforward do it as it is. Somehow, but quite convenient, I guess. Very unique, but hey, don't get me started on just straightforward annoying the Indians for playing that tune because of the fact it's Storm Chandra. Oh well. It does make sense for a cyclone in India, but why would it be named as a windstorm in the UK or the rest of Europe? That's very funny to know. But yeah, look at the rain here. Let me just jump cut for a while here. There you go, you can actually see there's so much rain. That's basically pouring outside. Yeah, it's like a little cyclone that's actually hitting or wrecking my area. But I don't think it's that severe, if you can see it. How highly ironic is that? Hey, there's a lot of wet weather around my area, eh? It happens all the time. But hey, there you go. That is Storm Chandra. And, you know, another thing that's also keeping Storm Chandra more of a local waterfront system that's basically hitting the UK at the moment is because we've got high pressure. So let me just illustrate this again, going by my hands, like so. I can't do a very good weather forecasting feature because obviously I've got not that much space. So basically, let's imagine if the bucket was Storm Chandra, and obviously maybe the red bucket could be the UK. So imagine if this bucket was straightforward striking the UK. That's how it's like. And then what's also very weird is that, no, apart from Storm Chandra hitting the UK and the rest of Europe, do you know what's also there? Where my hand is? High pressure. Illustrating the fact that there's high pressure developing on Scandinavia that's preventing the storm to expand all the way eastwards and northwards at the same time. And that's actually buffeting the storm to actually be more confined to, well, let's just say areas in Europe where it doesn't touch Scandinavia. So, luckily enough, it is still there. High pressure is developing in Scandinavia for some odd reason, which is obviously more common with this time of the year. And maybe after the storm, we might get an easterly wind of just how freezing cold it is. Well, I just don't think we'll get as much snow as I can. But look at the rain. Look at all of this monsoon rain that we're getting at the moment from Storm Chandra. That is actually quite interesting, I suppose, eh? I don't say the word interesting as interesting. I'd say interesting. I don't know how you pronounce that word. It's a common word, but then hey, difficult to pronounce. Komsi, Komsa, as much as I can say. Anyways, so namaste to everything. But Storm Chandra, quite a very uniquely named storm that we have in our country. But anyways, I'm going to leave this video here about Storm Chandra because, hey, what a event to really be hit. If you really enjoyed this video, I've got to get myself ready now. Please give this video a very good like so. Subscribe for more for videos in the future. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and bye for now. And maybe I'll go do another video relating about this storm. Okay, guys, bye now.